Alright, welcome to video number 30, solving square root functions that have extraneous solutions. So let's take a look at number 1 in that equation there. We have a square root, so we want to square that. Boom, so we square both sides. And what happens when you get a square root and a square? You are correct. They cancel out. So on the left hand side, our r originally has now become r squared, and it's equal to 30 minus r. A lot of people want to move the r squared to the right hand side and make it negative, but you can only do basic factoring if your r squared or your first variable is a positive, has a positive coefficient on it. So we want to move the 30 and the minus r to the left hand side. So we subtract 30, add the r, and we set it equal to 0. So boom, subtract 30 plus r, and we get that equal to 0. I yellow highlighted the r squared because looking at that, it stays positive, and you want that first one to stay positive. If it's negative r squared, well then it's a more advanced type of factoring. Now that we have r squared plus r minus 30, we get to do what a lot of people like to call the x box, so which is basic trinomial factoring. R squared will split up into r and r. The plus 1r and the minus 30, well, we put into the triangle, into the x box, and you got to find two numbers that multiply to be negative 30, add up to be positive 1. So the two numbers that do that are plus 6 and minus 5. And you put those two numbers into the parentheses. Boom. And it's like a lock and a key. For those two numbers, negative 30 and 1, only positive 6 and negative 5 will work. So we end up with two parentheses. These are the ingredients of the trinomial, r plus 6 and r minus 5. Those are the ingredients of r squared plus r minus 30. They're the exact same things, except it is divided out. Now we have to find out what r is going to be to make that equal 0. So those two parentheses multiply to each other to get 0. So either r plus 6 will be our 0, or r minus 5 will be our 0. We solve for both. Subtract the 6, add the 5. R is equal to negative 6, and r is equal to positive 5. So it looks like we have two answers, except for the fact that those two solutions have to be tested in our equation. So we try negative 6, and we try positive 5. When you see this, you got negative 6 being the answer to a square root. When we're talking about square root functions, we look to the positive answer. So negative 6, red flag. Positive 5, that's good. So negative 6 becomes an extraneous solution because when we square root something, we're looking for the positive version of it. R minus 6 is an extraneous solution to this, where r equals 5 is the actual answer. Alright, you guys try now with the second question. I'm going to you pause this, give it a try, and then we will compare answers. Okay, welcome back. You square both sides. Hopefully you did that. B squared is equal to negative 1 minus 2b because the square root disappears. You move them over to the positive b squared side. You factor that. So the two numbers that are multiplied to be 1, added to be 2, are plus 1 and plus 1. Set them equal to 0. And b is equal to negative 1 for both of them. So it looks like our solutions are negative 1. But we test it out. Plug both of them into the equation, and look, both of them are negative, but you're square rooting the equation. So b equals to negative 1 is extraneous. But there are no other choices, so therefore there are no solutions to this problem. Okay, I hope that helped out, and we'll see you in the next video.